seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Morning, everybody. As a surprise to Mark, because just before we went on, Reegan has disconnected briefly with a connection problem. So I'll need to come on briefly because I'll be hiding in the background today. Oh, here comes the man himself. He's back. He is back. There he is.
Sorry, guys, my laptop cut off. I don't know why, but
sorry, I saw you disappeared in the studio, and I was like, I better come on and say hello. So I will now go and disappear again and leave it to yourselves, guys. But yeah, have a good show, everybody.
Cheers, Phil.
So sorry, lads. It's good to be back on the show. Sorry, my laptop cut off there. So, Mark, we're going to move on to obviously the big match yesterday. What did you make of it, Mark? What's your reaction to it?
I thought it was a bit slow and laborious, mate. I think it's a bit of a hangover for St Mirren a couple of weeks ago. Too many players just not clicking. And I think mistakes at the back again. You know, I think it's the goalkeeper might be getting under question soon, but I think it's a day we was in front of him, to be honest with you. Midfield's not really clicking into action, and I think Kyogo's bringing a lot of goals into the team, but he's no performing at a very high level. So I think that's all contributing to some pretty poor performances after Madrid and Rangers.
Yeah, Mark, I've got my own personal opinion on this. I think Celtic squad in general are getting a little bit slacking, to be honest, because for me, I think they thought, right, if we just turn up, it'll become easy. I know people will say, well, that's not true, we never stop and all that sort of stuff. But I just think that when you're winning 38 games in a row, I just think they've took the foot off the gas a little bit. I think this winning game was probably a good wake-up call for the squad, and it probably showed us, Mark, that me and you've been on this bus for about 6 months now, saying that this squad's not good enough. So they need a new striker, they need a new midfielder, and I just think it just proved it yesterday, because for me, obviously we'll get on to it, Mark, but McGregor sent off, that just throws a spanner in the works for somebody like Moy or McCarthy to be thrown back in there for 2 games.
Fuck, you know, the 40 Aaron Moy being the linchpin in that midfield and holding back strike forces and protecting their defence is just scary, mate, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of supporters Aaron Moy. I think it's more a case of they're just stubborn and not want to admit the guy's a fucking donkey, to be quite honest with you. He's in the wrong movie, But I agree with you. I think there's a lot of players that have been reading their own press, and I think
Yep.
yesterday, I just felt like yesterday they were all just waiting for something to happen rather than making it happen. They just all thought something's going to happen here. I mean, there was no times that I was on the edge of my seat really when Jota was on the ball. It's just a poor game, but sometimes the games like that you look back on and you go, it was all about the 3 points, and to win a league title you need to go through the kind of wee slumps, the wee lulls.
Yep.
And the last 2 games has just kind of coincided with the players' heads kind of in the clouds a wee bit. I think they've been playing a lot of high tempo football, and the break came at the wrong time. But also, I think the dropping performance against St Mirren was, to be quite honest, it was the manager's fault. I think that's clear for anybody to see. The team is set up to play slow, and they didn't recover for the first minute. And I think yesterday's performance was a hangover for it. I'm hoping that getting an important game in, is it Wednesday? I hope that kind of lifts the heat up a wee bit, and the Celtic players start to concentrate and be 100% focused again, because they'll have to be for a start, but it'll kind of snowball onto your domestic football performances, I'm hoping.
Obviously, we've got people on the bus that want us to make a mark in Europe, Mark, and you're not one of them, right? Because you think winning the Scottish League is more important. But I'm going to be honest with you, Mark. I think on Wednesday night, if we've got a centre-back pairing of Jens and Stephen Welsh, that is a big worry for Celtic fans.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm scared to mention Welsh because I don't know if I'm annoying folk mentioning him, but I think Joe Hart's, his reluctance to come and get a couple of balls is he's not confident. He's Jens and Starfelt and Jens and Welsh. And I think folk might say, well, if that's the case, he should be demanding his box or commanding his box more. I don't think that's always the case.
No.
I mean, there's the way we defend is Joe Hart's got a very specific role given to him by the manager, what areas he's to cover, and if he's not 100% sure he's going to catch the ball, he'll not go for it. And you seen yesterday, he got a wee bit of a clatter. He came out, and that's twice in the last 3 weeks he's come out, or 4 weeks, sorry, and he still a sore one for getting himself into a position that maybe his defenders should be covering. I think the goal against St Mirren, the second one in particular, was he was just not sure on what his defenders were going to be doing. I think Starfelt clears that ball every day of the week.
Aye.
And I think Wednesday night, I think next Sunday is more important. Saturday is more important to Celtic's season than Wednesday. That's just my opinion. I can't be asked even talking about that anymore. But I think if we've got Carter Vickers back for next weekend, it'll kind of soften the blow a wee bit in terms of Callum McGregor being missing, because we can't have having a makeshift defence that the goalie doesn't trust. But I've got a wee feeling that if we do go on Wednesday and lose a few goals, which we might do, let's be honest, they've just beat Dortmund away from home 3-0. They beat a team yesterday 4-0. I think there'll be calls for Seacrest to get a game. Should Hart throw a couple on the net on Wednesday night, which, whether it's his fault or no, I mean, we could lose the game and it could just be brilliant goals, but I think there'll be folk in the support wanting to see Seacrest get a chance. I think that's premature. I think Joe Hart's a brilliant keeper. He was integral to your season last year. He marshalled that defence. You know what I mean? He's to me, he's still the second captain on the park. And with Callum McGregor being sent off, we need all the experienced players we've got to get us through these next couple of games. Yeah,
and especially that St Johnstone have just picked up 3 points yesterday, but they'll be buoyed from the win, and they want to go and show in front of the Sky cameras that they can do well. I mean, if you look at it, Mark, I said this to Phil this morning. I don't know if you'll play Abelgard at centre back if we've still got Welsh and Jens, because Abelgard's a big tall guy, and I played Beaton at centre back last year when Beaton's a centre back.
I know. I think if Abelgard was going to be playing in a match next week, I think, or even Wednesday, I think he would have been given half an hour yesterday or 40 minutes yesterday, because you don't do any game time whatsoever. I don't think you just throw these guys in instantly unless they're Australian and you need to give them game time for the World Cup. I don't think that happens at Celtic or at any professional team at this level. I think you need to prove your fitness first rather than gain fitness on the pitch. I think I don't think that's going to happen to Abelgard. I'd like to see him give him a chance though, because that centre back pairing is is awful. I think one thing I noticed yesterday was Jens' passing was very sloppy, which he's been pretty good at since he came to Celtic, and he was second guessing himself and all in his positioning. And I think, to be honest with you, he needs a strong partner. He needs somebody to carry him through games a wee bit. No, in terms of his ability, he just needs to know that he's somebody who's going to be of a level to bail him out, or even if it be at a level to give him confidence in what he's doing. And the guy playing next to him isn't going to give him that, I'm afraid, mate. And I think Jens and Carter Vickers is a pretty good partnership. But to be honest with you, I think Starfelt might well be the man that comes back in. I'm not his biggest fan, but sometimes it's a war of attrition, you know what I mean, mate? And it's just about using the best and the quality you've got and just kind of slotting them into the jigsaw. And Starfelt just might well be that man, because I don't think any of the 3 goals that we've lost the last 2 league games we'd have lost if Starfelt was on the park.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to ask you, Mark, in terms of Ange, this is not the boss opinion, this is my own opinion. I think Ange is becoming far, far too stubborn.
Oh, of course he is, mate. I mean, you talk about a guy here who left the Australian job because of stubbornness, you know what I mean? They said he wasn't going to change it. I think he would admit he's stubborn, but he's stubborn to the degree where he's got a philosophy on football. He's 100% sure that's a winning philosophy, and he's proved it at Celtic that it is a winning philosophy. And if he's got in his mind that he's not going to change things, then I'm not going to question that. In fact, the only time I would say he's changed it is when, for some reason, he saw a winning formula against Rangers and Real Madrid, played brilliant football, and decided to change it all to go to St Mirren Park and play a slow midfield. You know what I mean? And just totally change his game plan for the first time in 12 months. He decided to do it at St Mirren Park. But he's stubborn. Of course, he's stubborn. I think that's proven with his decision with Maeda and Abada. I think he sees Maeda like he sees himself in Australia, where he's kind of like the flag bearer of the country, and he's brought him over here, and he's put his hat on him. I mean, Abada, as I say, he started against Rangers, scored 2 goals, started against Dundee United, scored a hat-trick, I think he had 2 more assists. I don't know what more he has to do to get a start for Celtic. And to be quite honest with you, he came on yesterday, and within minutes, the place was looking better. If the pitch was looking bigger for Celtic, he gave Kyogo a tap-in. And I don't know what more the guy has to do, because you're right, he's stubborn. And Jackie Marcus comes back. Kyogo scored a good goal yesterday, but do you know something? He missed 2 sitters as well, mate, to be honest with you. He did miss 2 sitters, and his level of performance has been really poor, but he's been scoring goals. And as a striker, all you want after a striker is to score goals. But when your team is lacking in creativity, sometimes you need to offer that wee bit more. And that's what I think Jackie Marcus offers a bit more. But it's a mute point, mate, because we all know the number 1 is Kyogo. He's a player I love, and he's scoring goals. So there'd be no reason for Ange to drop him.
No, Mark, I don't want to offend sections of Celtic support. Obviously,
offend him, mate. Fuck him.
This is why I don't put stuff on Twitter, but I don't understand why we're not playing Tony Ralston. I really don't. You know, it's all this GG's fantastic. He plays for Croatia. Why are we down them? But I just don't see it. I just don't see why I'm just sticking with Juranovic. This is why I don't post about Celtic on Twitter, because there's so many people out there that just think that Juranovic is he cannot be criticised. And I just want to say this in terms of what Russell said yesterday. Russell's making a point there about Juranovic and Ralston. The amount of people that want to jump on people's back for having an opinion is unbelievable these days, Mark. Honestly, I just don't get it.
I mean, I actually seen the stuff on Twitter yesterday, but
I just don't
same old story, mate. I mean, football is very subjective. I mean, we can all have our favourite players, and we can all have the system and the formation that you want to play. We can all have like what we like to see, but you're allowed an opinion, and it is subjective. I mean, Juranovic, I don't know what he offers. I don't know what he offers nobody can tell me he offers a goal for it because he doesn't.
No.
Nobody can tell me that he's creative because he isn't. His defensive qualities, I think his positioning is very, very dubious. I mean, even the own goal yesterday, that can happen to anybody. So I don't care about that. That's nothing. But his performance yesterday was shocking. He hit the crossbar yesterday, and see, apart from that, he was sloppy in possession. His passes were gone. He had four passes within the first 25 minutes that went to the opposition player when Celtic were on a dangerous attack. And he does that every match, every single match. And he's one of the players that he's invincible. No matter what he does, he'll just get a pass. And I've seen folks saying he's so far above Ralston, it's untrue.
No.
And what Ralston's goal contribution is far exceeding anything Juranovic has ever done in his career.
Aye.
Juranovic is that world class that he was 26-year-old playing the Polish league, playing in front of 400 fans. I mean, the Polish league on $2,000 a week. It wasn't this hidden gem. He's played about 10 games for Croatia, and everybody thinks he's this Croatian right back. Celtic have won a watch. No, he's won a watch coming to Celtic.
Exactly.
He's not good enough to walk into a Chelsea team or anything like that. But you can't say that online, mate. And Bhoys got a lot of stick for it yesterday. It was out of order. But mate, we get stick on the chat on their channel constantly for having opinions. But if you can't have an opinion or you can't express your opinion, what's the point, mate? You just sit in your hand and just applaud anything that happens in front of you. I just don't understand it, mate. I was expressing my feelings on the Champions League. Now that my feelings aren't subjective, my opinion is subjective, right? But see, my feelings aren't, right? So only one person can feel it is me, right? And as folk tell me, I was talking shit.
Aye.
I was full of shit. I mean, how can you be shit about something, talking shit about something that isn't subjective? But that's what happens, mate. And I think Bhoys learned the hard way yesterday. I know that if you want to succeed on Twitter, you will just retweeting and liking everybody else's comments because your own opinion is just a dangerous thing to put out there.
Monty makes a good point there. He says Juranovic is only playing because he plays for Croatia. That's my point. The Ange is stubborn. I don't understand.
Well, hang on a minute here. So Monty's saying that because Juranovic is a Croatian right back, he must start. What a fucking comment that is. That just next comment, mate. Don't even answer that one.
But I can agree with him a little bit, Mark.
Right, because he's played for Croatia, he has got to start for Celtic. So the second choice, no matter how good or bad he plays, can't get a game.
But I think that plays into the Celtic support's mind.
Aye, that is true. That is how they think he's good enough for Celtic because he's Croatian.
Because you had people commenting on Russell's post yesterday saying, "Well, Juranovic plays for Croatia." You know, I just don't understand.
Reegan, who's the second choice Croatian right back? Have you any idea, mate?
Not got a clue, but I know.
That just shows you, mate. I could be. I'm 5'4". I could be the smallest, the tallest dwarf. It doesn't give me any kudos, does it? He might be the best, but the best out of a bad bunch of right backs at Croatia. I really don't know, mate. I'd be surprised if Croatia has got a better right back because if they're watching him play for Celtic with an objective eye, they would know that he's no the class that fans think.
I tell you, it's Perisic that used to play with Inter and won the Champions League. So he's never going to.
When was that? That was about 14 years ago.
I know, but he played at Inter and won the Italian Cup as well, Mark. So I don't think he's going to get. I don't think he's going to get played in front of him anyway.
So, how old is that? Well, my point I'm trying to make is how good is the second choice? If you're saying that's who it is, the guy's probably in his late 30s, I'd say.
No, but I don't think Juranovic is playing for Croatia. That's my point.
Is he? I don't know, mate. I've not got a clue. I didn't watch the time football.
Yeah, Juranovic for Croatia. He's sitting on the bench. Is
he?
He's not in a game.
Well, we've got a Scottish international, Ralston is the other choice. I mean, I know Croatia are a lot better than Scotland. I'd imagine they are, but I don't understand it, mate. Just because you've got a cap. I mean, look at Uruguay had a left back who played in the World Cup from called Diego Laxalt. I've always said that COVID was a horrible disease, mate, and it killed millions, right? But what COVID did for me, and I'm grateful for it, is I didn't have to watch Diego Laxalt, John Joe Kenny, or Damien, or Duff, or Dunn, what we call him, play for Celtic.
Oh, it was
That's what I think.
terrible.
That's what I think. COVID. That's the gift it gave me. He's one of the worst left backs I've ever seen in my life, and
Aye.
that guy played in the World Cup for Uruguay and signed for AC Milan. So in that premise, you'd be saying all you got to do is play for your country, held down a place, and Celtic is at that poor level where you've got to start. I don't think so.
Mark, you've got a comment for your brother. For your brother, Potman. He's saying Celtic's got one defeat in a whole year, and suddenly everything's wrong. Celtic fans need to chill out and relax.
Mm-hmm. I'm relaxed. We're top of the league with 2 points. I'm quite relaxed about it. But I think if you see performances gone slow, you don't just say, gone downhill. You don't just say, oh, we played bad today. But do you remember last year we won the league?
Exactly.
No, you got to comment. You
That's
didn't ask me to comment on the Rangers game. You asked me to comment on yesterday's game, Reegan.
Yep.
No, I mean, I don't understand it, mate. He's right. There's been a lot of panic on Twitter, and you're like saying calm down. But to be honest with you, and it's not just about Ryan's point, it's the arrogance on Twitter as well, and the fan base in general. But that's the same fans that was telling us when we were 19 points behind Rangers in January that to calm down, we'll pull it back. You know what I mean? A couple of years ago, because Rangers must have been that bad. We've got 3 games in Holland. It's all fluky. It's just, you can only comment on the last match if you're asked about the last match, mate. And yesterday's match, for anybody that watched it or was there, wasn't a very good advert for how Celtic play. If that was the first time you'd watched Ange Ball, you wouldn't be subscribing to watch it again. Let's be honest.
No, I want to now talk to you about McGregor, because McGregor gets sent off. I thought it was a sending off, but I thought John Beaton had a terrible game yesterday, Mark.
There was actually moments in the game that I thought he was enjoying the fans doing his back. I think he quite enjoys that.
Aye.
And I think his linesmen were just as bad. They were looking at the referee before they made decisions with a flag. There was one penalty call in the second half that was a Stonewall penalty. There was another call, I think it was another mistake for the blonde centre back who I'm not allowed to mention, and somebody clattered and right into him, and he wasn't even going to book the guy. He was trying his best not to book him, and I think he ended up just getting a nudge after one of his 4th officials, and they gave him a yellow card. Just constant, mate, and it was just a bad performance. And I think he was doing his best to slow the game down.
It was.
The only time I saw him sprint was to give Cal McGregor a red card. It's the only time I saw the guy move. It was really, really. Anybody that watches Celtic know that the best tactic against Celtic is to slow them down. If you can slow them down, you're taking a lot of their aggression off them, and I think he facilitated that.
Aye. I just want to talk about the incident with Kyogo and the Motherwell centre back. So basically, Kyogo get barged by the Motherwell centre back. I think it's Ricky Alami, would have been right in saying that. And basically, John Beaton takes so long to give the decision. He wasn't going to get it, and then he gets a word in his ear for his assistant referee. So John Beaton's standing right in front of it. He basically sees the decision.
Aye, he did, and he tried his best to frustrate the crowd yesterday. And I think it was a yellow card all day long, but he thought he had a wee moment of madness where he thought he could get away with not giving somebody a yellow card, but he just had to. It was a yellow card all day long, and I can see somebody saying here, keep the faith. I don't know. We won yesterday. We tried to keep the faith. We won 3 points. That's what matters. I think Celtic were they deserve to win the match, if a shadow of a doubt. It's just there's more to come for this team, and we just don't want. To be quite honest with you, Motherwell offered nothing yesterday.
Aye.
But there's tougher tests ahead. All I want to do is get the form back up again, because the form has dipped, whether people want to admit it or no. I think once we get Carter Vickers and Starfelt back, I think that'll tighten the defence up. I think Joe Hart will be a lot more calmer when he's got the defence that he trusts. I even noticed yesterday, I don't know if you noticed, I thought Greg Taylor played his worst game in a while, but I think it was more he wasn't committing forward, and he was second guessing his passes. I think that's a lot to do with the defence as well. I mean, he wasn't even. It was one point when Jota had the ball and he was about 40 yards for goals, and the overlap was on, and the crowd were going on his back. He was just kind of like
Aye.
hovering about, and normally he's overlapping straight away. And I thought maybe he's not convinced that he's not going to leave that left side of the pitch exposed. And I think it was on his mind all day that he was having to cover the two centre backs, and
See, being honest
it
about
was
it, man,
obvious.
being honest about it, I don't think the whole team, the whole squad, and even the manager, I don't think they're confident in their centre back pairing. I think that's why.
No.
I think that's why that we were so bad yesterday in terms of building up slow, because I don't think we've got full trust.
Oh, no, mate, exactly. I mean, when you bowl for the back like Celtic, I mean, it comes even. I don't think anybody trusts him. I don't think anybody trusts.
No.
It's not that. I think Jens is a good addition to the squad. I like him.
Yes,
I just don't think the other guy is name it, and I think that's plays into the panic at the back. I mean, the fans are right on his back yesterday, and they won him. Man, it's not the boy's fault. He's not good enough, but he just isn't good enough. You know what I mean? And see that he taking 4 touches rather than just the 1 or 2. That slows down slows down their attacks. It gives Motherwell a chance to get their players into position and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened yesterday. I think a lot of players were just waiting for something to happen. They were just saying, right, something's going to happen, and rather than making it happen. I thought O'Reilly was really poor yesterday. I don't think there was a player who played well yesterday, to be quite honest with you, but we dominated the match. We should have won the match with 4 or 5, so it's not as if it's that bad, but the play itself was pretty poor. I just think it reminded me a wee bit of, St Mirren game reminded me a bit of Neil Lennon's time. I thought yesterday reminded me of Rodgers' last few months, where it was just slow and kind of, you know what I mean, didn't you? It was just a kind of passing along the back and just waiting for players to commit, and then just didn't commit.
It was Neil Lennon ball for me yesterday.
It was. I think the St Mirren game was textbook Neil Lennon. I think yesterday was, as I say, I think it was very much like Brendan Rodgers' last few months. It was just a case of taking the game off.
Mark, I want to ask you then, who would you play in next Sunday then instead of McGregor? Because for me, I would go and play James McCarthy. I know other podcasts are saying they would have full faith in Moy, but I just think
they probably get books to write for Celtic, and they've probably put their neck in the chopping block by saying Moy's a class act. If they think that, then they're lying to themselves, mate. I think for me, I would perhaps push Hatate to number 6. He's played it before for previous clubs, and I would maybe Haksabanovic plays his best football on the left hand side. Put him to the left hand side of the midfield and put O'Reilly to the right. In that wee triangle, and then to each side of them, Abada, Jota, and Kyogo will be. You know what I mean?
The only thing I was thinking was maybe we could play Abelgard or James McCarthy, because Abelgard looks a big, strong, kind of perfect guy.
But would you throw Abelgard in with no much game time? Johnson away is a tough place to go to, but these games are getting to the stage now where every game's important. It's a title race, and the 3 points you get for beating Hearts is the same 3 points you get for beating Motherwell, you know. And we've got St Johnstone away from home, which is a sticky one for any club, I think, especially when Celtic come to town. Teams seem to go that one yard faster, you know what I mean? They're touch tight with their players, you know what I mean? And no, I think next week we can't be taking any gambles, and guys like Moy's a gamble. I think McCarthy's a gamble. Sorry, I disagree with you there. I think we have to play players that are tried and tested. I don't think Turnbull and O'Reilly work together. We've seen it before, it didn't work.
It's basically like I said in the podcast during the summer. We've got too many players that are too similar, Mark. We've got O'Reilly, we've got Turnbull, we've got Hatai. Every one of those players are like to get on the ball and like to move the ball quick. I think Celtic need that kind of. I don't even think Moy's that kind of enforcer either. I think
I know.
I think Moy's
maybe Abelgard's going to be that, mate. Maybe Abelgard is going to be that. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't watch enough other football to know who's out there, but I know the exact type you're talking about. Just like a kind of like Scott Brown was under Rodgers, that guy that can spot a lovely pass, but it's also strong enough to hold the midfield line and cover our left. Especially, I think Taylor does a lot of money for Celtic, so we have to cover. Whoever's going to be sitting in there, whether it's a Tatty or whether it is Moy, it's going to have to cover Taylor. I mean, it's as simple as that. And because the left hand side, if you're overlapping, is going to get a wee bit exposed. And I thought McGregor's good at that. McGregor's quite good at stepping in there, and Brown was excellent at doing it. Brown spent a lot of his time covering Kieran Tierney, and he did it so well for Rodgers. And I think if we're going to be, I stick to what I says. I think Hatate with Haksabanovic playing on the left next to Jota, and on the right O'Reilly with Abada. That's what I think that's what I would do, mate.
Yep. But Mark, I want to ask you this as well, because I was seeing yesterday from different outlets that VR will probably come in about 3 weeks' time. What do you make of it?
Well, I think yesterday we've had a Stonewall penalty given yesterday. I think VR is going to be used as a way of facilitating or rationalising bad decisions by your referees. As Ange said yesterday, it's not going to solve the problem. He's said it before in Japan and international.
No.
I don't think it's going. I think there's going to be decisions given for the most minuscule of challenges. I think it's going to make it even more easier for Rangers to get penalties. To be quite honest with you, yes, I think it's going to be. Now, yesterday's decision with the handball, I mean, VAR would give that, I think, but the linesman was standing 5, 10, 15 yards away. That was a hand. I could see it for the fucking top tier of the stadium with my bad eyesight. You know what I mean? This is going to be the same guys sitting in a studio, and I reckon the guys in the studio are going to be ex-referees. And senior ex-referees are the guys who are speaking at Orange Order meetings and doing sash bashes in Blackpool. You know what I mean? What fairness are we going to get? I just don't think.
No.
Now, VR, I think, looks good on paper, but the reality of it is going to be a way of just justifying Rangers to be getting decisions left, right and centre, and Celtic to be getting decisions against them. I don't care if anybody thinks I'm paranoid or no. The referees in this country is set up to favour one team, and that's one team only. And it's as simple as that. And a camera and 3 old referees who support Rangers sitting in a studio isn't going to change it.
I don't know what you think, Mark, but do you think that it should be former players that get it? Because for me, it should be, because a player knows more of if a player's went into hurt a player there, or he's done this or he's done that. Like, I just don't understand why former referees they're going to go by the book. They're going to go, well, under Rule 8, Section C, League B, Section 45. It's just going to be stupid.
Well, maybe I think for balance and fairness, there should be a UEFA. I mean, VR has been sanctioned by UEFA, so there should be a UEFA delegate or a UEFA employee in every studio that this is going on. And if it's a three man panel watching decisions, it should have to be unanimous. If it's you can't get if it's 2-on-1, right? Fair enough. You know what I mean? If it's you let the referee decide. But I think if you're getting, it's going to be the freedom saying that's a red card. If you're getting 2-on-1, that just shows you the stability. So just give a decision to the referee. I don't think. Can you imagine us getting a goal in the last minute and then turning out 2 minutes later there was a foul in the opposite corner flag area? And see shit like that. I mean, I'm sure that happened to. Did it happen in the Spurs Ajax game in the Champions League one time? Something ridiculous like that happened.
It was Spurs Man City. They were checking for about 7 minutes to see if the guy had handballed it in the way up to the goal, and you're thinking to yourself, "This is what's going to happen." Somebody's toenail's going to be offside, and you're like,
"That's what I mean." There was one last week, St Mirren's, or 2 weeks ago. St Mirren's second goal was about half a yard offside. That, I mean, VR would have stopped that goal going in, right? But see when it's like somebody's sleeve of their shirt offside, that isn't offside, mate. I think it should be a part of your body that you can score with, and anything else is onside. And I don't mean like somebody's kneecap. I'm talking about like maybe the full of their leg. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep. Mark, I now want to move on to something different, and that's the fact that in terms of Andrew, so Andrew's talking about Jack and Marcus possibly be back for Wednesday and Vickers as well. But that just shows you, me and Mark, that see if Celtic have not got their first 11 in that, or the first 14 players that they like to choose, if we've not got that, then we've still not got a good squad. I mean, I was shouting on this bus for a long while to get a third choice striker. People saying, we've got Jack and Marcus, we've got Kyogo, everything's all hunky dory, you know, and
They're always injured.
I'm going to be honest with you, I think Kyogo will be injured for a lengthy period of time this season.
Aye. Well, he's already had one already. I mean, between the two of them, there was 3 injuries by September the 10th or 11th. There was 3 injuries between the two of them, 1 month into the season. I mean, I think last season, I worked it out. Kyogo was out for 4 different spells.
Aye.
No including that. Last year it was 4 spells, and then his shoulder this season. And I think 3 of them were hamstrings. One, he came back for 1 match and get injured. You know what I mean? It just, so if you think they two are going to stay fit for this season, I think you'd be very lucky if that happens. You know what I mean? I think you're right. There will be another 2-3 month job on one of the two of them. Probably Kyogo, if I was going to guess.
And people are talking about we can play Maeda up front. I mean, Maeda is. I mean, he's got worse eyes than me and you, Mark. I've got terrible eyes, but I mean, Jesus. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like he can't score.
Oh, mate. I think there's only so much determination and grit and pace can get you in football, and I think the guy brings so much to Celtic. But I wouldn't hang my hat on him playing for the middle to win the league, mate.
No.
If the worst was to happen to us, we would have to wait until January before we replaced him. And I wouldn't be confident us getting to January with a strike force that had Maeda through the front or Abada through the front, Jota and Maeda, or Jota and Abada either side. That doesn't thrill me, mate. That doesn't fill me full of confidence. Abada did do a good job last season, between February and March or whatever it was, when we had a wee spell with no strikers, and the guy did do well for us. But I think rather than use that as an example of how it could possibly work, use that as an example of, look, we get away with it. Long term, it's not going to work, and the situation will happen again at Celtic. And I actually predicted that a centre back pairing would be injured at the same time as well. I did that pre-season, or not even pre-season, at the start of the season. I said these two are going to be out at the same time. I said Carter Vickers has had an injury yet all season. Since he came to Celtic, I said he's going to pick up something. And Starfelt's had a few injuries. I said it's going to happen. And I went, well, what happens then? Do we bring in Julian at the time, or do we bring in Welsh? And I wish we kept Julian in, because I think
me as well.
Because he's so stubborn with his attitude behind the scenes, because quite obviously he was a bit of an agitator. I think Julian would have been a better partnership with Jens, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, me as well, Mark. That's no disrespect to Stephen Welsh, but I don't know how Celtic not back nearly £2 million from him.
Reegan, isn't a Make-A-Wish Foundation. This is the thing people need to get over. Celtic isn't a charity, mate. See, like, you can only play for Celtic if you're good enough, mate. And just because you're Scottish, or you come through the system, or you come through the ranks, or whatever, this isn't a charity, mate. If you play for Celtic, you're highly paid. You're paid to take the stick and the criticism. And if you're not good enough to be in that position, there should be somebody there who's got to take a position off you. This isn't a charity, mate. And there's certain players, no matter how much you kid on, are good enough. There's certain ones that aren't. And if they're not good enough, then Celtic only going to win matches when they're involved.
No. I want to bring up this comment, and it basically says, do you think that Celtic will show up against the German side this week?
I think this is the thing. I think the Celtic players will show up, and it's a bit annoying, because I think they've had the highs of the Derby match and the highs of Real Madrid and the highs of Shakhtar, and they're kind of like, they fell back down to the earth, and Scottish football's not giving them that wee sugar rush. I think they will show up for it, but unfortunately, I just think that team will be better. You know what I mean? That's the other thing about it. They'll be a better team than us, mate. And I'm just hoping that we don't get a scudding, and then it's, we need to drop Hart for Seagrass, because I think Seagrass is going to be the long-term solution to the goalkeeping position. But I like Joe Hart. I think he just offers just so much stability to the back. I know he's a couple of touch. I think the goal equaliser against Shakhtar, a lot of people. I mean, the ball was hit him for 3 yards away at 50 mile an hour or whatever it was. I'd probably look at Juranovic's position in that goal rather than Hart's inability to catch a ball for 3 yards out. You know what I mean? 3 yards away from him. I don't know, but I think there's got to be. I think if he loses Wednesday by a number of goals, I think there'll be a bit of a pile-on for Seacrest to get a start. I can see that coming, mate.
Aye. I suppose the big thing as well, Mark, is that they've just got a new manager, Marco Rose, who basically played Celtic off the park the last time they played, with Salzburg. So it's going to be interesting because sometimes, sometimes Celtic fans need to be realistic and say, right, well, they're probably going to dominate the ball. We're probably going to get about 4 chances in the game, so we need to take our chances when we get them.
That's the thing. I mean, you look at Shakhtar game, and I think we created so many chances. But I think we should have won that match by 3 or 4, to be honest with you. And but we have a lot of games in Scotland. I think the 9-0 game, we could have won 13-14-0. As daft as that sounds, but we miss a lot of chances. It's like Kyogo. I remember my brother Ryan saying, I mean, if Kyogo's going to score 5, he'll score 1 goal. He'll miss 5. But that's fine. He gets himself in that position where he will create 5 chances for himself. He's good enough to do that. But I think in Europe, when you get chances, like the Madrid beat us 3-0. To be honest with you, if they played another half an hour, it could have been 5 or 6. But they won 3-0 because of how ruthless they were. They didn't need second chances.
No.
If we were that ruthless, we would have been in that game 1 or 2-0 up. You know what I mean? And that's the difference at that level, mate, is when you create chances, having that killer instinct. I don't think it's a mentality where you miss it against Real Madrid, but you don't miss it against Hearts. But it does creep into you. I think there's been chances that I've seen in Scotland where I've thought, if you want to play Celtic, mate, you're scoring that, and we go 1-0 behind. You know what I mean? I've seen opposition players and I go, you're better than that. You know what I mean? And it's just sometimes, I don't know what it is. It's just, you can just see the lights. I don't know what it is, but they miss them.
And I suppose the big thing for Celtic as well, Mark, they'll be hoping that Shakhtar don't get anything from Real Madrid, because if Shakhtar get anything, Shakhtar will be on 4 points, and if Celtic get beat, then Leipzig will be on 3 points, and then Celtic will be on 1 point. So Celtic could be finishing bottom of that group.
I think Celtic will get beaten Wednesday, but I think Celtic will have got the capabilities to get 3 points against Leipzig at home. I think Celtic can do that. And it'll come down to the Shakhtar game. If Celtic can get 3 points against Shakhtar at Celtic Park, that would give, assuming they win, that'd be 7 points if we win the 2 home matches. That would give Celtic a brilliant chance. I think if that happens, the head-to-head would mean Celtic would be second, unless Leipzig beat Madrid at home. I actually heard that Leipzig should have beat Madrid in the Bernabeu. I listened to the Celtic Exchange. They were saying, a couple of them were saying, listen, it was a game that they should have won. So I might write them off, but I think Madrid will probably beat every team, home and away, to be honest with you. That's what my hope is. Because if Celtic gets 3 points out of the 6 against Leipzig, which isn't a bad thing, but then pick up 3 points against Shakhtar, I think that would guarantee his second place, unless my maths are wrong. Because if they get 3 points against Shakhtar and Leipzig, that'd be us on 7 points, and head-to-head with Shakhtar would mean we would go above them, and Leipzig would have to beat Madrid and Shakhtar. I think.
The bus driver Russell has popped in and he's saying, if Real Madrid win the next 3 double-header, Shakhtar, Leipzig, and we win the 2 home games against Shakhtar, we can guarantee 3rd place.
That'd be a good result for Celtic. I think 3rd place would be good. I mean, I know the group, when you look at it, doesn't look all that scary, but there's some real quality in the teams, you know what I mean? If Celtic can get out of this group in any fashion, I think that'd be good for Celtic. Especially since it's Angie's first crack at the Champions League, so he's going to be having wee gambles and wee experiments here and there and all the rest of it. So if he can keep himself in Europe after Christmas, I think he's did well for Celtic.
Yep. I now just want to just before we end the show, Mark. In terms of Wednesday, then, what's your expectations? Snap your hand off for a draw, or will we see proper handball?
Oh, I think any Celtic fan would take a draw now, mate, to be honest with you. That mob, I've just hit a gallop just at the right time. Celtic all need to play them, and they just went to Dortmund. They beat them 3-0. They beat a team 4-0 yesterday. I don't think they've lost a goal in the last 3 matches. I might be wrong there. So they've definitely showed up a bit at the back and they're scoring goals. I think to be honest with you, I don't think Celtic fans need to give Celtic a wee bit of a break here. I think if they go and get beat on Wednesday night, it's against German opposition. They're a good team. I know they get beat off Shakhtar 4-1, but I had 2 of their goals that really fucking were giveaways, you know what I mean? And it was the last time the manager took charge of them. They get sacked. I think he sacked the following morning or even the same night.
He did.
So I think sometimes players know when a manager's got to be sacked. They can feel it in the air, and sometimes these results happen. It's happened to Celtic before. I think my expectation is I expect us to get beat, but I expect Celtic to put on a good performance. I think the players will show up. The only concern about the performance level is if we're building for the back and it's going to be the laborious 3-4 touches like we've seen yesterday. There's not much the midfield can do about that. They're going to have to just sit back and wait till they get the ball, and that gives the opposition a chance to get back into shape again.
Just finally before we wrap up, Mark, I just wanted to chat to you about the St Johnstone game next week. So for me, I think that if Giakoumakis is available, I think you should start Giakoumakis next week.
Aye, definitely. I've said a million times there's games for Giakoumakis and there's games for Kyogo. I get Giakoumakis written away it, especially with how physical St Johnstone are going to be. I mean, I just need to give the boy some more game time and game minutes. I think if you give Giakoumakis game time, he'll give you goals. We all know what Kyogo can do. Kyogo's going to score you goals 25, 30 a season. The guy's class. But doesn't mean there's no room for Giakoumakis to get starts for Celtic. And especially, I do think next week might be another slug. But if it's 1-0, mate, it's 1-0, and I'll take it. We're going to have to realise that when you're taking McGregor, he's so important to how we play. If you take McGregor out of midfield, there's going to be a compromise somewhere. But what we're going to do is make the best of it. And if we have to try, in fact, I'm going to be honest with you, if I was Ange, I would do what the Rangers do. I'd appeal it. Just say the SFA, I'm not sure that's a red card. I'm going to appeal that. I mean, every time they do it, there's always a delay in the process and they're free to play the next match.
Yep.
Just appeal it, because the Johnson's a hard place to go to. Just appeal it, and hopefully the game he's going to miss is a home match. You know what I mean?
I want to ask you this as well, Mark, because I know people are chatting about it and things like that, but see in terms of next week, I just hope that we don't go back to this slow pedestrian midfield, because since this is what St Johnstone will enjoy. They'll enjoy us playing the ball slow and pedestrian. You know what I mean? We need to inject some pace, and I would maybe play Abada next week to try and bring the pace to the attack.
Definitely, mate. Abada does bring you pace, but he also brings you that cutting edge. I mean, you can beat a man quite easily, and his end ball does get criticised quite a lot, but he's just a pest in amongst the box and all. He just provides something that Maida, doesn't he? I play Abada. You can't play Maida in the right because his best football is on the left, and that's where Jota should be. And you can't play Maida in the right because he's no of the level of Abada. It's as simple as that. I know a lot of fans might not agree with that. Well, I think they will agree with it. They just don't want to say it. So I think we need to play our strengths. I mean, even yesterday, there was folk yesterday moaning about the referee slowing it down. And I says to them, well, what are we moaning for? We were taking corner kicks and we were taking 5, 10, 15 seconds to take them. Normally we're like that, zip, zip, zip. We were doing the exact same thing. We were holding the ball at throw-ins. We were slowing it down as well. And I felt myself, well, if that's your style of football, we're constantly on the zip. Just see when you slow it down yourself because the opposition's doing it, you're playing into the opposition's hands. I mean, there was a corner kick when we were still chasing the winner yesterday, and I don't know who was taking it. Was it O'Reilly?
Yeah.
And at one point he went to run, but then stopped and just walked at it. He went and just started walking. I went, what the fuck was that all about? You know what I mean? I didn't understand it. I thought before we've just been going so fast, and the last 2 games it's been nothing's changed in the dressing room or on the training ground. So it could only be in the players' heads. I don't think Ange said to the players, away you go out and just do the opposite of what I've told you today. St Mirren, we were set up to do that way. St Mirren, the midfield was set up to be slow. But that was infectious into the players' heads. And I've just no turned their heads since, you know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, I've been looking forward to Celtic football under Ange, but the last 2 games has been very disappointing, Mark. But I suppose
it can happen, mate.
I suppose the most important thing is, Mark, Celtic are 2 points clear, so that's all that matters.
That's all that matters, mate. I would take 2 points clear at granted every match, you know what I mean? We were disappointed yesterday when the man came all won and they went 1 point above us for half an hour, but I think with that wee 5 point, you got that wee 5 point gap, it kind of like keeps them on the back foot for as long as possible, and you know that I mean, I don't think we've played a game this season yet. We've played before them. They've either played at the same time as us or they've played before us. So we're going to have to be playing catch up, even though we're top of the league. On a match day, we're probably going to be second. I mean, we're top of the league through the week, but on a match day, they're probably going to win. We're going to have to catch up with them. It's as strange as that sounds. And that'll be 5 points. We just kind of keep them in a place a wee bit. But it wasn't to be. But 2 points ahead is happy days, you know what I mean? Because our goal difference is another point. Because I think we're like 11 or 13 goals better off than them. So long may that continue. 2 points I'll take every day of the week, especially this is a title race where every point's going to be a prisoner for Celtic, and they need to win every match, especially if they're going to be playing most weeks before us. As the SFA like to put pressure on Celtic and give that Mankey mob as much time as they want, and the referees they need to help them win their matches, I'm afraid, mate.
So, Mark, that is us at 12:30. Thank you for everybody for joining us. It's been great to be back on the bus. The bus will be back tomorrow with the driver himself and also the co-driver and his brother. So it's good to be on, and everybody have a good Sunday, whatever you get up to.
Cheers, Reegan.
See you again.
Guys.
His comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now, and you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.